So, a few weeks ago I was scrolling AliExpress in bed and I found this cheap Ulanzi wireless microphone system for like 30 euros. This one. So you can guess that I kind of ordered and it has already been delivered. So yeah, and as I was looking for some sort of information after I ordered, of course, of how good or bad it is, like I didn't find almost any on the internet, except for one Venezuelan video or something. So yeah, so I thought maybe it would be cool to kind of create a video where I compare to some other microphones that I have, just to kind of give a impression of how good or bad it is, whether it's good for 30 euros or not, and so on. So I think I will compare it with my existing microphone system, so like Lark M2 that I have here. I also have DJI Mic 2, and doesn't focus, and I have DJI Mic Mini, a single microphone without the receiver. But anyway, we can I can compare it, kind of give my opinion on that, and so on. So the final price for this is 29 euros that I paid, including shipping and all the taxes, customs and VAT. And it comes with this sort of a nice box. It's made of fabric, has a zipper, and inside the box you can see what it is there. Yeah, inside the box you kind of get two transmitters, two receivers, a two-prong sort of a USB-C cable, and a USB-C to Lightning adapter, so you can connect to older phones, and some sort of like a SIM ejector tool. So yeah, and a manual, of course. So that's it. It doesn't come with anything else. There's no charging case, so this case is just to kind of keep it secure and in a single place. So this microphone is kind of a special because it does have two receivers, and as I understand, the target audience for this microphone again is some sort of a Chinese influencers that sell products on multiple platforms. So it's an interesting sort of a product market fit, but yeah, again, it was 29 euros, so I thought maybe it will provide me like a joy for a couple of hours just testing it out. So let's see how good or bad it is. Currently the sound that you're hearing is coming from lav mic called iRig Mic LAV that is connected directly to my computer from which I'm recording this. So you can kind of see this as a reference. It's not particularly good microphone, but it's a cute microphone and it comes in a nice box. So yeah, this is you know, you can say it's a reference sound. Let's now try to connect this Ulanzi thing, and I will kind of tell a couple of things about it. Alright, so now I have switched this Ulanzi HM2301 microphone that you're hearing right now. Should be visible. So it comes, as I mentioned, with two USB-C receivers that look like that. Both seem to be identical. Sometimes I connect one, sometimes I connect the second one. Both of them out of the box come paired with the transmitters that they come. So yeah, now you're hearing the sound. I can kind of gauge how good or bad it sounds. I have a couple of notes that I found interesting here to kind of talk about this microphone. So interesting thing maybe before we go into specs, so that it comes with two transmitters, but transmitters are not identical. One of them is labeled as a main unit, the second one is secondary unit. And it seems like the secondary unit, it appears that it connects to the main unit, and the main unit then connects to the receivers. It seems that this is how it works, because the secondary unit cannot work without the main unit first being connected. So yeah, which is kind of a, I would say, potentially an issue, is that in the sense that majority of the times, you know, people use those wireless microphones one at a time. And for example, I use Lark M2 or DJI Mic 2 sometimes to just to use as a video conference. Sometimes when I draw something over the board, you know, and I'm using Teams so that people can hear me when I'm not in front of PC, and I rotate those microphones, so it's not only just one that is constantly connected. So in this case it would not be possible. You would always need to use one. And the second potential issue is that, you know, once one of those microphones, when it kind of just depletes on the battery power, then you can just switch to the second one. and charge the next one. But this is again not possible. Only the main unit can be connected at once, and then secondary unit can be just connected to the main unit. So yeah, interesting sort of a limitation or peculiarity. What else? So it appears, at least over the spec, they said they have a 130 milliamp hour battery, which is well, it's hard to say, like, you know, without knowing the context. But for example, Lark M2 that I have here, and it's much smaller, has 90 milliamp hour battery, which is not that much smaller, right? Looking at the size of it, this is the size difference between those. About the same thickness. I think Lark M2 is even less thick. If I am comparing it to DJI Mic Mini, then again, DJI Mic Mini is thicker, but yeah, again, still size-wise, it's much smaller. DJI Mic 2 is quite a bit larger than this one, mostly much thicker than that. So, for example, Lark M2 has 90 milliamp hour battery. DJI Mic Mini has 114 milliamp hour battery, which is basically the same as this one. And DJI Mic 2 has 360 milliamp hour battery, so quite a bit larger. So yeah, so that's that. According to specification, it claims that it can work for 5 hours from a single charge. So what I found, sometimes I use it to kind of just connect it in the morning and have like Teams meetings or Zoom meetings like over the day, and I can see that it lasts about half a day, so it's about 4 hours of actual work without noise cancellation, which comes to the next point. It has, both of them have some sort of a noise cancellation. Only one mode of noise cancellation, so I will try out later on with the AC sound. So that's that. So yeah, now you're hearing it, how it sounds with noise cancellation in some sort of like a quite quiet room. So that's that. Yeah, so let me switch to another mic and then continue on some sort of technology peculiarities over this. All right, so now I am connected, when I'm speaking through DJI Mic Mini that I have connected through one of those DJI wireless receivers. Yeah, I have 2 of them. Definitely worth 15 euros, by the way. So let me continue rambling about this Ulanzi microphone, and you can kind of judge how good or bad the DJI Mic Mini sounds in comparison. So the DJI Mic Mini, by the way, alone does cost around 33 euros, and with the whole kit is currently around 80 euros. So it's about 2.5 times more expensive, but it has this box and charging stuff and so on. So yeah, but continuing rambling about this Ulanzi microphone. So one interesting thing is that there appears to be different latency between main transmitter and the secondary transmitter on this Ulanzi microphone. So for example, without noise cancellation, at least Ulanzi claims that there is 25 millisecond delay or latency using the main transmitter, and also without noise cancellation, the secondary receiver has 58 millisecond latency. So there's 33 millisecond difference between the 2 microphones. And if we are using noise cancellation, so then the main transmitter latency increases by 8 milliseconds, and the secondary transmitter latency increases to 92 milliseconds, so extra 60 milliseconds. For comparison, for DJI Mic 2, DJI claims around 15 millisecond latency, but some sort of independent testers or whatever people, they claim it's about 30 milliseconds. So for main microphone, 25 milliseconds seems good, but 92 milliseconds, they seem to be, that looks quite excessive. I know that when there is a latency of around 200 milliseconds, for example, using my capture card, then I kind of already feels off. But maybe now it compensates each other, so I don't know. So sometimes it can be okay. But the difference of 60 milliseconds between the main and secondary transmitters kind of seems a lot. All right, so now I switch to DJI Mic 2. You can kind of compare how the sounds compare to Ulanzi and then DJI Mic Mini. So to continue rambling, some of the other things to kind of note here. Interestingly, these microphones, they charge at a rate of 0.3 watts, which is really slow. It's around 60 milliamps. And it claims that it kind of charges in about 2.5 hours, which is probably true. But it's generally not very good, because the battery life is around 4 hours, and then it charges for 2.5 hours, and once the main unit has been discharged, you can't just use secondary unit, you need to charge the main unit. So that kind of is limitation. So for example, for myself, like I need kind of a microphone that would survive the whole day, around 10 hours. This is not an ideal case, but for example, if you're recording videos in 4 hours, it should be plenty. Yeah. Out of comparison, by the way, DJI Mic Mini, it does charge us at the rate of 0.7 watts. So it has a smaller battery, but more than double the rate of charge. So that's kind of cool for DJI Mic Mini, not very cool at Ulanzi. Cool, so I switched to Lark M2, the last microphone in this comparison. So there's nothing more to say much. Maybe just to note that 0.3 watts of charge rate, this is the maximum charge rate at which they seem to be charging, is potentially problematic, because for example, if you charge over certain power banks or using specific power chargers, it might be too low or below some sort of a cutoff charge rate at which either the power bank or the wall charger would disconnect the device. So for example, in my particular case, I had some PD power charger that I first connected this Ulanzi microphone, and it would not charge using this 65 watt PD power charger. So yeah, so this could be potentially an issue. So for example, if you know that you could not charge this using your power bank or a charger, so just keep that in mind. Yeah, I think that's it, more or less. Like if I have to summarize, and maybe let me switch for summary to this Ulanzi microphone, just so you can hear it from the Ulanzi ones. Cool, so I have recorded my observations without switching the microphone on last time. So, but now it seems to be switched. So, sort of last kind of a test here is now I have air conditioning on, blowing on the medium setting like 2 meters away from me. I'm not sure it is picked up by the microphone, but let me shut up and you can actually see if it does, or if it is. Yeah. So now let me switch the noise cancellation on and see if it actually helps to cancel some of that. Yeah, accidentally switched it off. Yeah, let's see if now air conditioning sound is being picked up or not. I don't know, noise levels on the receiver seem to be much lower. So maybe it does. I did not like how my voice sounded with the noise cancellation on. I'm going to switch it back. I would say it is a plus that it's only one noise cancellation mode. Sometimes they add like strong, low, you know, reverb, whatever. Like it's all like nonsense. So like the fact it's just one on and off is actually good. Then I would actually use that. So yeah, so basically my final thoughts on that. So I would say for 29 euros, it's actually a nice deal. I'm a bad person to kind of judge the audio quality. Like I don't have a good ear to kind of say this sounds good or bad and so on, but it sounds good enough for me. I would say for any sort of Teams meetings when you kind of need to use the whiteboard and so on, and you will be some sort of distance, it definitely will be improvement from the laptop microphone, or sometimes even this cheap Bluetooth headset microphones. This sounds much better, and also the microphone quality sounds fine. I would probably not record an album on that, right? Okay, so one of the reasons why I picked this up actually was because it was 80 euros on my local shop, and then they discounted it to 60 euros, and I checked on AliExpress, it was only 29 euros, so I thought I'm getting a good deal. So yeah, if I was a Chinese influencer selling on multiple platforms, I would definitely recommend it. But even without being Chinese influencers, again, it seems pretty good deal. You can buy, by the way, extra receivers. So you can connect to multiple. You can still connect maximum 2 microphones, but you can have, as I understand, at least four, maybe even more receivers, and each receiver is like 12 euros, which does not sound like a good deal because 2 receivers with 2 transmitters is like 29 euros. So yeah, that's it. If it was helpful, then I'm quite glad. You can click a like on this button on this video, and if not, well, that's too bad. So sorry for that. Yeah, that's it.